packaging, it says 5. BDS
That's
versus
when
Empire.
you can use that if the attack was too slow. Undercooked in the mic.
I'd delete it. Nomad is the first removal here onto Chalet, which is a little bit tepid, a little bit concerning for Empire because, as they sort of said on the desk and alluded to it, Coastline, it's a good map for sort of both of them. It was a bit of a gambit play, get it out of the way, because otherwise you're probably going to see it at the end of the throwdown anyway.
Yeah.
But now the fact they couldn't quite start it with the fire that they potentially wanted to, they're facing down the freeze. And the freeze is cold.
I sense a freeze is coming. There's a reference.
Okay, Batman, like, if you would be a wonderful Mr. Freeze. I would love
Arnold.
to see Parker as Penguin. Imagine Parker as Penguin. With a little Danny DeVito style suit with the umbrella.
It would be hilarious.
With his, like, you know, when he had the crazy hair,
Yeah.
like the big hair. Just
That laugh. It's addictive.
Des is Two-Face, because he's in a business suit.
Hap's Poison Ivy.
Please don't put that image in my head.
Too late now!
No, Hap can't be a villain. Hap is...
Harley Quinn. No, you're Harley Quinn.
Thank you. No, Hap is...
It's the Joker, baby!
Hap is Robin. I promised people I would stop doing that voice.
Oh, no. Well. Aye. Here we are, and ladies and gentlemen, got our second map on our hands is Chalet. BDS starting off on the attacking side, and Nook being brought up by a Lems. Dan on the Capcan. Legion is in. Hello. Ni hao ma, Legion. Happy to have you on here with us. It's been a while, my friend. We got denial ops aplenty. This is olden days. This throws me back between the Legion and our alibi. That's good times to be had. So many impacts. They're going to catch them all in this game.
We're also looking at, obviously, eyes on Empire, seeing what they can build with this, bring in the Legion, bring in the Capcan. They've got the Iruni to buy themselves a bit of time, and obviously the alibis might be able to stop some slightly fervent firefights happening on the piano window, onto the bathroom hop-in. It just gives you that radial indicator, because not only is it something where if you're having a scrappy firefight, you've got to have it via something that's just going to sort of put a hot ping on you, which puts you into a lot of danger, but if you hop in, you've got to try and shoot down, you're going to hit it anyway, you're suddenly revealed, so none of that stealth play that we saw BDS flirt with a little bit on the previous map, how sudden they are on their attacks and how much that alibi might cause some, at least, concerns for them.
And Scyther's really doing things well here in the Legion. The trick with Legion overall is to just lay your goo mines away from site first, and then slowly, as the round progresses, you're getting closer and closer back to it, so your goo mines will be effective by the end of the round, where in the beginning you'll mostly be fighting outside of the site in the first 2 minutes. But there's no shotgun operator on this defensive side. And a bit of fire here onto Scyther. Let's see. Okay, he'll still engage. Not too sure why he went for it, but fair enough. He's going to get taken down, and there's the Legion. I mean, you want to play outside of sight in the beginning, but not so far away, and definitely not get shot early into it. Shaiko's already in here. They got control library, but Dan's able to refrag at least. A Lems is down, and there's the Nook out of play.
I guess it's a curious decision. He wanted to sort of stick the fight. He'd been able to slip to Blue, but maybe he thought Blue was under a bit of cover. Maybe he was like, I can hold him here if you get into position, Dan, and then we can just sort of pinch him, because Dan showed up. And Dan showed up, I believe, from main stairs before he swung around. So that's, you assume, the reasoning, but still, it's an early loss. It's an early loss for an operator that only gets stronger and stronger. Rafale, scrapped and scraped by the side, but is waiting to loose that E1D on the door so they can get a bit of a swing around here. They're going to see if they can pop potentially a grenade just off the corner to remove any of that corner utility. And there it goes, and it's round, and it blows up. Maybe the shield, it might be a little bit too far away, but either way, Empire's opening themselves up a little bit of a stretch here onto the corner. It's a big bout of pressure onto box, but it needs a little bit more diversity to make it actually hit the mark. I say as Shaiko just swings the door, hits one, and in just a second.
Usually when you open up the wall, it's supposed to be a slow braze where you open up the wall and then slowly pick and prod. But when you're Shaiko, you don't want it to be that way. You just peek around and find a kill through the piano, and that's a great one here to have. Grenade sails right into Dan, who takes a lot of damage and actually is dropped. BD will go for the finisher, leaving to alive, but it's Shaiko to go again on the flank, taking down Joystick as Renshiro was taken out. And this love was Shepard, not for long. Shaiko, he'll hurt him back to the stable. Very well done. Back to the barn in this case. You don't put sheep in the stable. Put them on the barn. There you go.
Is that a life lesson? Am I learning?
I don't.
Is this still technically a cooking metaphor?
No, I did the slow braise.
You did do the slow braise.
I have
gonna
never
get hungry.
made a slow
Definitely.
braise, but I'm sure it would be very tasty.
Kitchen dining, and I guess the
I
thing
see what you did there.
that I called for on the previous round was a bit of diversity on the push, but then Shaiko just swung with a confidence that we actually saw on Coastline, and that's a bit of a worry. Remember, hark your minds back, may the herald angels sing. Glory was not to Empire's King Joystick, who was dropped on the swing round whilst he was trying to hold onto Sunrise Bar and that little split door, because Renshiro just swung the corner and took the fight. And for me, that was the sort of signifier of that first map of who was a little bit more keyed in and ready for those engagements. Here, if that is going to be a bit of a warning bell that tolls the fate of the Christmassy game, well, it's a bit of a worry for the Russians because it is more of that BDS confidence. It's more of that BDS bravado as they're able to swing onto the single player behind piano and then look for the other one. They've obviously built themselves up to have the crossfire. Rafale was making his way around to the double window as well, which you'll see a lot of other teams will actually stack up first because you expect players to try to flee piano, and that's when that window player can strike. But when Shaiko just swings and takes the fight and wins 1.5 in an engagement, it's a concerning key to listen to the music on. Dropping down to Kitchen, as I said, we'll see if that roam game that was a little bit unsuccessful as a start for Empire grows into something a little bit better.
So, what will be the game plan in this case here for BDS? Shaiko did a lot of work in our last round. It's possible he does it all again. And you know what? He cannot keep getting away with it. Cannot. We saw it on our first map. We might be seeing a repeat here on Chalet as the devs themselves are like, you know what? This looks like a 3-0. But, hey, you could have said the same about a lot of games that we've had over the past couple of weeks. And yet, we've almost had a lot of upsets as we went through, at least the overall predictions. Rafale joining in, checking the hallway. Nobody in there as BD off on the rappel will slowly open things up here to enter, but it's always to find him and destroy the X-Kairos pellets to walk back into dining. You're not invited for this party, my friends.
Yeah, and there it is, the change of pace and force. They're able to actually find some cement here on that early game. Scyther, he's a bit scratched, but still standing. That's a very different story to how it opened up before. But to be fair, the role that he's playing on the new team is going to be slightly different. Just looking for that drone hole death, but Shepard is keeping himself at a bit of an arm's reach so he doesn't suffer off the other side of the engagement. Lems on the Nook, playing that sneaky role, is going to see if they can creep up the opposite side as Dan is prepping themselves for the run out, and that's going to push Lems. But the Claymore does more than enough.
Let's go. Rafale getting destroyed there by the Claymore, and Lems walking around on the Nook. This is the beauty of having the Nook, and just because those cameras cannot see you when your ability is active. Joystick checking those holes that were opened up inside of that master bathroom, and you can't really find anybody just yet poking in through the window. Grenade's going to sell out here from Shaiko. He doesn't have any info on it, but it'll at least force Joystick back, which is not too bad. Still, putting two players backed up against one another as Renshiro collects one on the rotation. That's Joystick down, leaving one alone on the floor. That's Scyther again with a Nitro Cell still in the back pocket, and Shepard on the Maestro holding the long angle. Double impact. There's not much time here, but more than enough for the attackers to walk in if need be. Scyther takes down one, a 3v2.
Very well played there by Scyther. He was sort of the pop-off player on the first map for Empire here, and you hope to see a little bit more of a drive.
No.
What a position.
Like this.
Dug in. Gets the double, gets it locked off on the connector here, and as Rafale finds himself suddenly isolated, 10 seconds per player. But look, they're two stories now. Scyther very cleverly has taken himself up to the top floor, making sure that there's no clean entrance here, and they're just buying some time on the back of the kitchen table.
He's knocked through!
Sliver. He's able to at least knock that window. Gonna see if he can get the catch on this player. The drop, the ping, slightly wrong position. Rafale gets the...
Oh, no!
Rafale!
How does he do it?
You do it.
Incredible! Look at that! The one bullet that they needed to connect. And Rafale does it. The team cannot believe it. The man is on fire. We saw it in Coastline. It's coming back in Chalet. You don't need a fireplace when you got Rafale. He's bringing the whole heat to the map. That explains so much about it. There's not going to be much snow left by the end of this map in here. What's going on, Emmy? Not like this.
I mean...
The Maestro collected the two. It should have never even been that way. And yet still he does it. I can't believe it. I'm speechless.
Hey, welcome back to casting.
Yeah. My voice that...
Yeah. Take it
There's
easy,
a
old
reason
man.
why I quit. So,
All
you know
right.
what? It's a 1 in a million years, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fair
So...
enough. What a play. It deserves.
I mean, it was a heck of a play, that's sure. Obviously, they had a bit of the intel, and they did everything right. And that's, I guess, the irritating part from the side of an Empire fan, if you're looking at this, is there wasn't really, there was a couple of moments where you could have think, well, they could have done this and they could have done that, but getting himself up to the vertical, opening up the angle, and spraying through, he was a sliver. He wasn't even a bullet. He was the shrapnel that might pop off of some of the woodwork away from not being able to complete what he did. And then it took just popping up and looking the right way, which was, a 1 in 360 chance for Rafale, and he was able to pull it out of the hat. It comes through for him. He gets the lock-in, and he gets the second round for BDS. It's still a fight from Empire, though, but, it's Chalet. It works. It's well for attackers. You can start with a bit of attack momentum and try and swing this back over to your favor. Empire still have time. They've just got to try and find that little bit of a connection, and maybe some of that little bit of French luck that's just carried BDS onto the end of that round.
French luck. Is that a thing?
I mean, we just saw Rafale look up and find the man.
That's all skill right there, Emmy.
Oh, it's a lot of skill to get there, but...
A bit of luck is...
It's a bit of
sprinkling of luck.
Lady Luck was, I think, speaking French at that moment.
Oui, oui. There it is. Grenade being lobbed off here. Thanks to those Wamai discs that have been set about to protect Dan, who's really feeling the heat. He walks away, but not for long. Gets shot down, dropped on the floor. Rafale with the last couple bullets left in the mag. He'll reload, and Dan is going to be picked back up to 20 HP. More of the discs have been spotted around that entryway, and yeah, it's going to cool down a bit as we hit the halfway mark.
The big problem for this is the player that had to go get him was Joystick, and he was your fireplace player. He was an extension that usually teams will work so hard to get rid of, and just from the fact that I suppose nobody else could get that pickup means that all of this top floor has pretty much fallen away from them. They can no longer hold fireplace. They can probably not get back up there without any danger as Alems finds Joystick and ends that. They did have, obviously, the Mozzie as a bit of a loose player, but he's only really there as a surprise striking force later on. And because they don't have that fireplace, then the top of the stairs is going to fall. How long it takes BDS to realize that, I don't know, but as soon as they do, it's probably not going to be much longer before this happens. Shaiko swings around, and the only game he's playing inside here is putting bullets in the tail onto the Russian players. Scyther going to try and creep his way back up as more damage happens onto the site itself, see if he can retake some of the vertical, because to be fair, they've lost pretty much everything else.
He's right next to you. Scyther finally gets the kill, but Empire, they're pressed on all sides like a beef Wellington. Renshiro goes down, but the diffuser's been planted. And what can you do? Always on the floor. Scyther takes a lot of damage in the engagement. He might be able to go and pick up his teammate, but you might as well impact him at this point, because there's not much you're going to be able to do. They're back up to 20 HP. In this case, always the one with double the health that we see. There's one impact to open up the wall. No shots through. They're going to fall back and just play by that beer collection area. Rafale will get the last one, and that's another round for BDS and another finisher for Rafale as he keeps on going. Shaiko to entry, Rafale to close. That's the duo you look for.
That was all French skill. It was so well put together. The angle that they had to isolate Dan, whether he wanted to sort of stick himself in that little box longer or he was just caught out by the pace that BDS applied themselves towards the pressure there, I don't know. But again, that crawl away, the fact that Joystick was the one that had to get them, for me was the start of the downfall. It hands so much ground over. It hands not just important ground, but usually very hotly contested for at least a minute and a half. ground, you're supposed to draw a lot out of them, and because it wasn't, Shaiko was able to hop down to the double window, start throwing those grenades that otherwise would have been needed to try and clear the shield at the top of the staircase. All that utility that would have been wasted is suddenly free game, free use, and used very well, and that gets BDS their 3rd round in a row. Empire, bit of a reset, bit of a refresh, but they're instead going to start a potentially new set on this half, with Kitchen being the lead-in, and to be fair, out of the 3, it was the closest.
The closest, but just because they both walked in with little time, the Sludge trying to open up the wall, and the Maestro was in the perfect spot to collect 2 kills. And even with that, Rafale was like, you know what, I did not say that the round is over. Okay? That's how it goes.
Is that how it goes?
Is that how it goes? Yes, it is indeed. Scyther's opening up some positions from that bottom floor, just making sure that the defenders that are placed upstairs, actually in that bedroom or inside of the little study next to it, the office, they have angles to shoot down onto the attackers. They walk in slowly into sight. All of these things are kind of par for the course. You expect that anyways, part of opening up and playing the verticality of this map, which definitely is underrated. Though, Rafale going in for the drones, and things are kind of slow here as BDS scout out this fairly large map. E1D will ease their way in.
Always going to see if they can stick in a bit of a wider hold here. We've seen them extend onto some other parts of this map, but they sort of kept themselves mobile before. Here they want to try and dig them heels in. Cause a fight, cause a ruckus, and cause some attention, and cause some destruction in terms of utility that is otherwise being played by BDS, which, as I said before, wasn't contested. That sure was. Alems hits a punch hole, gets hit back. Shaiko finds a bit of instant revenge against Dan across the top of the staircase. That will ensure them a little bit of solidity, but with that loose player slithering underneath amongst the wine, it's going to be a bit of a cause for concern later on in the round. They still have time. They still have a little bout of breath to take against the box.
That's why you're enforcing here at the top of the stairs, making sure that nobody can breach easily into your position. Oh, there it is. It's going to get picked up. No grenade for you, Shaiko. He sailed a couple grenades very effectively so far. There's one around the corner, and it does hit Joystick. Oh, man, he's taken down. Shaiko victorious in this bout in here around the corner. Shaiko knows there's a player sitting inside of the master bathroom. The piano room, at least, is taken to the control of BDS, though a lot of drones were lost. Keep in mind, with 6 drones left and a minute in total, there's quite a bit of intel that could be gathered for this. There's the info that they needed, and they're going to have to fall back here. At least the one defender that's sitting. Scyther is going to walk away, but not too far. Still waiting for the opportune moment.
Well, now with the pinch and the pings coming through, they know where he is, and they're just going to swing the free fire. It's an easy pickup for Shaiko at this point, but to be fair, the way he's been playing today so far, most of them have been. He has just seemed so confident. It's this debonair attitude of a gunner who is just having fun gunning, and they're able to swing themselves in.
That camera by the backstairs was not being watched the time where he could have been flanked, which is exactly what happened to Shaiko. So not sure what's going on here with the 2 dead players that could have been given the intel, but you know what? Fair enough. There's another pick. The L is down, and Shepard, though, is able to find one, but Shaiko instantly locks it in. Another round, and even more effective than they have been over the past few. BDS collect another on the attack, but like I said, it's the attack. You expect an easier time for the attack. You're not expecting, though, more than 4 rounds. So Empire have to get something on the board over the next couple.
Well, they gotta get something, and I think that's the sort of split and divide right now is Empire, we're wanting more. And it's not even that we're having those sort of close breath moments that we had on Coast, and Coast was a pretty extreme scoreline, but there were still these fights. There were still these bites back, and here it just seems, if anything, a little bit more lackluster. And okay, this isn't their map and they're less confident on it, and you assume by every statistic that we have that it's going to go BDS's way on Chalet. And it is, but it's going it so convincingly you would be surprised to think that this was the Empire that we've seen quite recently, who have been able to put up a fight against a lot of great teams on a lot of maps that they're not usually so adept at. That grenade take, that swing round, these little missed connections are turning into a whole lot of late fares. Ooh, saves the life of his teammate.
Well, well, well. I am concerned by that camera not having been watched in the last round. I thought that, you know, the expectations to see, hey, we're watching your back. I understand then why Scyther in that case, if I remember correctly, was kind of looking everywhere, making sure that he doesn't get flanked. Yeah, whatever. Water under the bridge. What happens now at 4-0 for BDS? Still on the attacking side, of course. We're 2 rounds away from the flip, at least the one after. And everybody pretty much is attacking from this western side to go into library. The site has been detected and confirmed as that bedroom and office space. So completely natural that you put on the library. You're gonna have to deal with Joystick on the other side as he's at the top fireplace. This is the comfy position that we talked about that Joystick had to relinquish to revive his teammate that was in DBNO a few rounds ago. But that came down to grenades from Shaiko being hit correctly. Will it happen again? There's a good chance that it might.
They're trying to find some of this power position that I've talked about before, but they just sliver past. Look at the pressure coming through onto the site. Renshiro's in. Renshiro's spending so much time here. Bride's going to build some free real estate. They're like, take a seat, put your feet up, and put the diffuser down.
Where's Empire? Hello?
What's going on? You got to do something.
Who's attacking again? Can you please remind me? Alems gets another one. That makes it a 5v3. Scyther on the floor is taken down. Always is out as well. And Joystick is last live for nothing. A flawless round for BDS as Empire forget what side they're playing on and completely abandon the site. A couple drones, a bit of intel, and BDS walk in, collect a round for free. That has to break your mental if you're Team Empire. That, in a very objective manner, did not look good at all.
I don't even know what happened.
Suddenly there's 3 people on site.
Suddenly I just see them. I see them at the corner of the eye. We're watching Joystick. I'm about to say, well, he's going to put up a fire, and he swings towards where they're going past, and I'm like, they haven't stopped. That's 2 of them. They sledge the door. Medics very expertly listens to my screaming, jumps over, and they're just setting up shop in sight. And the site was theirs. And it wasn't just that half the site was, the whole floor.
Piano window rotation was already held by
Locked.
Shaiko.
Bathroom was locked. They had solarium stairs covered, so nobody was going to come up that route.
I'm sorry, but like, that hurt. Come on, man, give me a few extra rounds. I only cast like 1. You'll see. The last, we're going to go to like map 5. The next 3 maps are going to be incredible.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not here.
They just don't want to stress you out.
Thank you. Thank you for making my day easier. Definitely so. We still have, though, more to go through here, of course, today. But looks like BDS just want to end it ASAP. And you know
maybe
what?
Empire do as well with that hold. It was, oh God, it was dire. And and that's it. And I think that's the main thing of the takeaway is, okay, we're playing for the finals. We're playing for this. Both these teams, they have been the top 2 teams of our region for the whole year. And we know Empire are a lot better than this. And they can play a lot better than this. And they've got SI coming up. It's all fair to take into consideration. But you don't expect a free site handover plant within the opening minute. That's going to be such an outlier on Tim's statistics.
I'm sure he's looking at him right now. Speaking of another one, Renshiru just eats the damage, walks in, but always finally is able to turn around. But he actually ate some damage himself. Bride taking down Dan with the... What? Is that the DMR? What? Bride is actually going for the M4, the DMR, the rarity that we almost never get to see, but at least a trade away to turn it to a 3v2 here. Man, the Maverick does work. It opens things up. What can your Electro Claws do against that? Well, nothing. Especially not when you are dead.
He's made a whack-a-mole. He's made a whack-a-mole on the door, and he's wondering which hole he's going to peek out of next, but he's decided that he may as well actually try and burn an entrance. The Rooney Gate's going to eat a little bit more time, but to be fair, he still has 2 grenades in pocket. He's more than enough to get through this on his own, as well as a drone somewhere out and about. He has no pressure, no time, and a minute 40 to try and make this work, as the other 2 BDS players, Alems and Rafale, are going to see if they can try and just isolate at least a bit of solidity. And it's going to be a fight on Joystick here on the top that goes away from Joystick, caught sprinting. And now they're able to slink their way down. Shepard's going to see if he can step up to the first fight. And it's the door with the diffuser. And there goes Bride. And there goes a quick swing to 6-0. And, yeah, it's kind of screaming by.
It's a game.
We're going to need that Santa across the screen to cheer this up.
Please, production.
The happy, upbeat Santa.
Ho, ho, ho! Bring it up, please. Pajalis?
He's going to show up at some point now.
No. All right.
He's got presents to deliver. There he
There he is. Hello.
I bet people who haven't seen it yet were like, what are they talking about? What do you mean the Santa to lift the mood? It's a 6-0, and it's... it was always going to be a BDS map.
There he is. I was going to ask, right? Let's go.
It's going back to where he was. But it's not even close.
Wow. So this was BDS's pick, fair enough, but now we swap sides. Now, Empire have a lot of work to do. I think there's no two ways around it. However, this doesn't give you much flexibility, and holy mother of annoyances, we're going to see a shield on defense being brought up, and not just any shield, Emmy. Very own London Metro Police operator being brought in to help, because you got some frustrating opponents coming in on the other side. You want to make sure that Empire cannot walk in to you. The Zofia being brought up, which we haven't actually seen Zofia so far in the series, I don't believe. Kind of interesting that she's kind of been put away. Flores is in, so Hap gets to participate in the round.
In some way.
In some way.
He's in the back, I believe, watching in a lot of pain.
Oh, the poor man.
Poor baby.
I mean, if he's...
That's why he's Robin. You can't be a villain because you don't want...
Who would I be?
You would be Mr.
Dr.
Freeze.
Freeze. Dr. Freeze? Mr. Freeze? Mr. Freeze.
He was a doctor, probably.
Yeah, fair.
Just loved his wife.
That's true. Poison Ivy.
No.
No? Who is it?
We'll talk later.
We'll talk later. Oh, what a time to be alive. Is she also a freezing person? I don't know.
Well,
I
she
don't
was
care.
frozen. She had a disease. Okay, we'll talk later because this is happening, and they've been able to find that Metropolitan Police officer who's trying to kettle them back out of the door here. Shaiko. Hey, Shaiko.
Let's go.
He just takes the intel the Clash provides, and that's the slow on the sledge outside, which means it's an awkward fight. But it's one
way,
that Shaiko decides
Get out of here.
he wants to sit on the snowmobile and zoom your way out of there. There's a third that's coming, and you're probably going to want to take this fight too as soon as the Clash gives you the wherewithal that somebody else is going to be there. There it is. Bride with the slow. Let's wind up this Jack in the Box and see what's revealed. It's probably going to be Shaiko on the end of a spring with a gun. But no, the fact that a fight happened elsewhere means that the Empire players are actually going to pick up and try and go for a slightly alternate take. Joystick suffers from the top down. The door is dangerous, and now they've got to go with a new plan. Plan C, get to the top and see if we can at least get a BDS player. Well, we just manage it, but now always has to get another 4 for a chance at anything on Chalet.
He's got no intel whatsoever, and he's going to go down. Shaiko with the kill to make it 2-0 for BDS, and 6-0 in total here on our second map, Chalet. A flawless victory for Team BDS. What a way to get through things. I gotta say, man, this looks like a 3-0 real quick. Look, we have, early trips back home tomorrow, but I didn't want to finish today so early, Emmy.